Hey everyone, Steve Gonzer. I'm a physical therapist and founder of RunSmart Online, and I just want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support again. We have awesome comments and awesome feedback from our program that we're going to be launching in a couple weeks, about 2 weeks from now, maximum 3 if we can get it done and get all the video edited, about what you're looking for. So we're developing this Cradle to 5K program of getting moms back into running safely, because believe it or not, this is a huge problem, and we see it a lot in the clinic as PTs where moms get cleared to start doing activity again, and they get back into the swing of things for running. They find it very difficult. The whole course that we're going to be launching is going to be covering the build back into running, but also restoring core strength. And that's what we're going to talk about now briefly, is really what happens and to our abdominal system and to our core, and how does it pertain to running so that you can do it efficiently. And the big thing that we want to talk about is what I see with most moms that come in and see me after having a baby. It could have been last year or a couple months ago. I've seen it, extend out, and the mom comes in and says, after my second kid, I was never the same, and I've had trouble since. And really, what it comes down to is really one thing, which is this: your spine. And developing spine stability is huge postpartum, because you lose a lot of that spine stability after having a child. So really, this whole spine is built for stability, not mobility. But that tends to be the opposite. As the baby grows inside the mom, all the abdominal muscles get stretched out, and what once was like a nice stable spine that didn't have a lot of movement when it didn't need it is now something that pivots and flexes and extends when it probably shouldn't be, or it definitely shouldn't be. So really what everything comes down to is learning how to re-stabilize the spine so that when you're hitting the ground, you're not taking all that impact and just pretty much rocking yourself from side to side, in front to back.
This is a great animation that shows how the body distributes force as we hit the ground. Remember, it's not just your foot, your knee, your ankle, your hip, your low back that is absorbing shock. All that force is going to come up into your low back. In this video, we can see the pelvis rocking from side to side. We see a lot of things going on. We can see mainly that there's not a lot of spine movement, okay? But with that pelvis rocking, there is a little bit of lower spine shift, and we can see that especially through here. What happens when a mother goes through childbearing and delivery is that stability is really lost. So what we're going to find is, as we play through this and watch how the body accepts load, it's no wonder why moms have such a hard time getting back into running. It's because the force is just coming through and it's crushing them. So this is how most people run. If you don't think you run this way, I'm going to probably tell you that you most likely do, but it doesn't really make a difference. The force is still the same. When we hit the ground, up to 290% of your body weight is coming in at you have 5 milliseconds. So very high amount of load in a short period of time, and that ground force is going to come up right up through the leg into the pelvis. It's going to really cause a jarring force right through the pelvis. So you have a lot of different things going on here. You have your abdominals on the front, lumbar stabilizers. You have abdominal muscles that wrap around and attach onto your low back, and then we also have our oblique muscles that come through and attach, and then we have our inner layer of obliques and outer layer of obliques. So we have this huge cross-hatching and stability program, or stability layout of our muscles to prevent too much wear and tear and too much shock and awe to the whole system. But if we can't control this ground force, if this ground force comes up and it's just too strong, our muscles aren't good enough at pushing back down to control some of that force, you're going to get a huge driving force through the pelvis and through the lumbar spine. So that force is just coming up and it's rattling the whole system, and it really comes down to stability. So as we watch this come through and we have this runner come from behind, look at the pelvis rocking, okay? That is controlled by muscles. When the muscles can't control it because they're weak, what do we think happens? You're going to get excessive motion. So as we watch this runner, they're weight bearing on their left side right now. As they come through, you can see how the pelvis drops. Okay, some amount of pelvis drop can be normal. We want to look for symmetry, and we don't want to look for compensations. We can see that this runner is, in the diagram at least, fairly symmetrical. We won't come onto an arm position or anything like that, but there is a little bit of shifting through the spine. You can see how the spine bends to the left a little bit, and then comes back to the right, so almost like a C shape. But really what we're looking at here are the ability to stabilize through the spine. So do you have good stabilization through your core stabilizers, through your low back, through your abdominals that wrap around. And then do you have good hip strength? So you got hip muscles that pull down on the pelvis, and if they can't pull down, what do? If this pelvis isn't going to stay level, it's going to drop. And this is really what we find. As that pelvis drops, you're going to see more and more low back movements. You can see how this, we'll kind of zoom in a little bit more. You can see that movement through the low back. That low back movement is going to be accentuated, and it's going to cause wear and tear. And this is really what it comes down to when we talk about not having proximal stability. So as you run, you're going to get a lot more shifting through here. This is the can't fire the cannon from a canoe scenario, and too much rocking will wear you down. Again, this whole program that we're designing is to fix this, is to prevent this, is to restore this core stability. Yes, you can run after you're pregnant or after pregnancy, but this stuff needs to be restored if you're looking to run long term.
So as you can see, running is just more than putting one foot in front of the other. You need to regain the core strength, whether your kid was a couple years ago or a couple months ago. It's so important to regain that core stability, because as soon as that ground comes with an impact, it can really wreck everything. I can't tell you how many moms I see that come in with low back, knee, hip, foot, and ankle. The damage goes all the way down the chain. So thinking it's been a while, I don't really need to worry about that anymore, is just kind of a death wish in your running career. You need to regain that stability. So the program is going to be a progressive strengthening program that leads you from easy to hard to get that core strength back. And it's also going to have a couch to 5K or a cradle to 5K program that will progressively load tissue. It's not just, hey, you got cleared to run, let's just start getting out on the road and lace them up a little bit at a time. Really what the program is designed to do is a progressive load from easy to hard, and actually work your way back into running safely. It does take some time, but it does it safely so that you can get back and do that. What we need from you, we're getting ready to launch. We're almost done shooting all our video. We need more feedback. So below you can find a link to our feedback form, or do it on social media. In the comments below of this video, we really need as much feedback as possible. We have great feedback to start about C-sections, what's the effect of multiple kids, how to go about the strengthening, and that's exactly what we're looking to cover. So again, leave us as much feedback. We got one more video, and then we're getting ready to launch, and we're going to have a lot of great content for moms looking to get back into running or regain a lot of their strength from having a child.